for the villagers to maybe get to the nearest town or the nearest hospital. Can I complete before you raise your hand, P? Thank you. So before, see, now I lost my train of thought. Thank you so much, P, for distracting me. What was I saying? Yeah, so maybe for the villagers, nearest possible, stop raising your hand.
Why don't you watch the movie and just tell me about it?
No, I won't waste my time or energy
telling you movie. Okay.
Telling you anything about anything. Because clearly you're ready to sue me, right? Welcome back to another Chatterbox trailer reaction, everyone. My name is Joyce, and today I'm joined by none other than the annoying friend that we all know and have in all our groups. Oh my God, don't look anywhere. I'm talking right to you, P.
Oh.
What a surprise.
Who are you?
Who am I? Are you suffering from a memory loss?
No.
Is that what's going on?
Okay.
All good? Okay, let's just swiftly move on to the wonderful South London skanker Sean. And of course, last but not the least, ladies love Andre.
How do you do?
Very well, thank you. Thank you so much for asking, Andre. Okay, are we ready to jump into today's trailer? Today we are reacting to the trailer of Manjhi, the Mountain Man, which is written and directed by Ketan Mehta, starring Nawazuddin Siddiqui and Radhika Apte. This movie is a true story of guts and glory of Dashrath Manjhi, who spent 22 years carving a road through a treacherous mountain using only a hammer and a chisel.
What? Say that again? He did what?
I know, it sounds strange. Let me repeat that. This movie is a true story of guts and glory of Dashrath Manjhi, who spent 22 years carving a road through a treacherous mountain using only a hammer and a chisel.
Were there no women in this village?
बहुत बड़ा है तू, बहुत अकड़ है तोरा में, देख देख कैसे उखाड़ते हैं अकड़ तेरी।
पहाड़ पार 4 मील पर है वजीरगंज कस्बा, लेकिन वहां जाए के लिए भी 40 मील घूम के जाना पड़ता। पहाड़ नांगे के चक्कर में जाने कितने ही मर खाते।
शानदार, जबरदस्त, जिंदाबाद। ये फगुनिया है, ये हमार मैरिया है। तौर खातिर गिफ्ट लाए हैं। एक बादशाह ने अपनी रानी की याद में बनाया था। इतना सा? तौर को इतना चाहते हैं, 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 कितना चाहते हैं। क्या बताएं? सीना चीर के दिखाएं बजरंगबली जैसा। जब तक तोड़ेंगे नहीं तब तक छोड़ेंगे छोड़ेंगे। बहुत ही लंबा दंगल चलेगा रे। तो तैयार है? तैयार है। शानदार, जबरदस्त, जिंदाबाद। लोग कहता है हम पागल हैं, जिंदगी खराब कर रहा है। ये भीतर का घाव है। जब तक ये टूटेगा नहीं, भरेगा नहीं। तो अपना अखबार काहे नहीं छाप देते?
अखबार निकालना इतना आसान काम है क्या?
पहाड़ तोड़े से भी मुश्किल है का।
इतना ताकत कहाँ से लाते हैं?
ये प्रेम है, प्रेम पर बहुत बल है भगवान। भगवान के भरोसे मत बैठिए, का पता भगवान हमरे भरोसे बैठा हो।
Interesting.
The thing about it, let me just jump straight in. What he did was admirable. I'm really impressed with what he did. Based on a true story, I think it's fantastic of the mission that he went about, the dedication. I admire everything about it. It's impressive. I can't give him enough adulation. But would I watch this? Not a chance. This doesn't look like a movie I would sit down and watch. Trailer to me, it looks tedious. It if I had to watch it, I would, but it's not something I would sit down, watch, and go, wow. I think the trailer there gave me everything I needed to know, and at least I know somebody existed that did something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But never in a million years.
Never.
It's interesting because the trailer is okay. I kind of agree with P in terms of the trailer gave enough for me because I'm interested in him. I'm interested in that person, but I can read up on him. I don't need to see the movie. I'm interested in him. Like, he's really, what he does sounds interesting, and I'm interested in why he done it, and was he mentally ill, or he just felt like, I need to do this. I like that he was talking to the mountain in the trailer, but that ain't enough for me to watch it. So I'll just read up on him and get the information that way. So yeah, that's how I feel about that.
Okay.
Do you know what? With this one, I think I agree with the guys. I think it's a really interesting story. The character, obviously, this being a real story, not something I would do with 22 years of my life. I can definitely think of a lot more interesting things to do. But
guys, it's in a village.
But it's admirable at the same time. I don't think it's something that I would personally sit down and watch as a film, even though I'm not saying it's a bad film, because it could very well be a good film. The trailer was okay, I would agree, similar to what Andre said there. But I think maybe for me, this might be something that's more palatable if I watched it as a documentary about like this person's real life, where you got to like see his family members, and maybe he's not with us anymore, but you get to hear the story about the person that he was, and you know what possibly, like Andre said, was it mental health? What inspired him to do this? I mean, I did see shots of the relationship that he had with a girl in there, which maybe that inspired this, but I'm not quite sure. So I think a documentary would be better for me, but not knocking it. Some people might find it interesting enough to watch the film. Fair enough.
I mean, I think. Okay, let me just say what I have to say. Okay, now for me, I think personally, I'm a sucker for true stories. Okay, so I 100% would watch it. Now, for me, that's like an epic story, and of course, like knowing that it's Nawazuddin Siddiqui and Radhika Apte, who both are like absolutely brilliant actors and performers, and seeing them together on the screen itself is enough for me to want to watch it. Right. And in terms of like the story, now, why he did something like that, it might sound like something really tedious, right? 22 years, like, making his way through, digging a mountain. But I think like why he probably would have done that is maybe because, this is like a remote village, and maybe the only way for the villagers to maybe get to the nearest town or the nearest hospital. Can I complete before you raise your hand, P? Thank you. So before, see, now I lost my train of thought. Thank you so much, P, for distracting me. What was I saying? Yeah, so maybe like, for the villagers, the only way to get to the nearest town or whatever was this, they had to cross this mountain. Like maybe there was no other way for them to get to the nearest possible, stop raising your hand, nearest possible town or hospital or whatever. So maybe he was the one who took the initiative to say, you know what, I'm going to make everyone's life easier.
Wanted to ask was, all right, why did the villagers not help him?
I was about to say, yeah.
That's what I was asking.
If that's true, Joyce, if that's true, they let him do that by himself for 22 years.
We don't know that, right? Because we haven't watched.
No, I'm kind of what you said. I'm saying if that's true what you said, that would be awful. 22 years they letting him do that by himself.
I'm sure
they didn't even show them coming and giving him a haircut. The guy was looking ragged. He was eating trees at one point.
You know what? In the trailer, in one bit, they showed his wife slipping from the mountain, didn't they? So maybe she fell, she died, and maybe that, because he loved her so much, maybe that sort of gave him that willpower that, you know, because my wife was crossing the mountain to get to the other side or whatever, and she fell and slipped. If there was a better route to get to the other side, my wife would have still been alive. So maybe that sort of gave him that determination to do this so that no other villagers have to go through that. Maybe that could have been the motivation behind why he did what he did. Whether you agree with it or not, you know, he did something like that, which most people wouldn't think of doing it, right? So
I know you're correct there.
Him for that.
Most people wouldn't think of doing it.
Yeah, but he did. And that's great that he did. Now, whether you want to watch the movie or not, that's totally fine. You know, to each his own. So that's totally fine if you don't want to watch the movie. If you're happy reading about him, great. Just Google about him. I'm sure you will find out everything that you need to know. But for me, like knowing that it's Nawazuddin Siddiqui and Radhika Apte, I will definitely want to watch it just because I know they are such great performers. So now you can say whatever you were raising your hand for.
Oh, no, I said it because I was asking about the villagers from day dot. Okay. I'm going to go and knock down something now, but I'm not going to spend 22 years.
And again, remember, this was back in 1950s, guys. So, you know, he probably didn't have then again, it's probably a remote village. He probably didn't have access to anything else other than a hammer and a chisel. Maybe that's why that's all he could use. Maybe, right?
No, but you know what is crazy? I don't know. I don't want to say crazy, but it's kind of like you have a hammer and a chisel and you look at a mountain and go, let me try.
But see, a man with strong willpower and the right kind of motivation will probably go to any lengths to get what he needs to get done.
No,
and again,
if I don't do that, I'm lesser. I'm lesser.
No,
I'm less of a man.
I'm just saying that, you know, you don't have that many people with that kind of willpower and determination. And I'm very glad that he did what he did.
All right, let me personalize it. Say one day your dad got a hammer and chisel and was knocking away at a mountain for 22 years. You'd be like,
I can assure you he
would. Willpower.
I can just assure you he would never do that. My father, no way. Hell no, he wouldn't do that. But no, I think, like, you know, it's important to remember that this is set back in 1950s. Okay, this is not like set in the 21st century. So I'm sure, like, you know, it had its own pros and cons back then.
So he did this until 1972.
Apparently, because it says 22 years.
Yeah, like I said, like we're talking about trailer reaction. We're talking about the movie itself. The story, the true story itself, is interesting. I'm just saying I don't want to watch the movie, or rather read about it, because it really does sound interesting, and I do want to know what his motivation was for doing that. I'm just not watching the bloody movie for that.
Yeah, I wish somebody does a 10-minute YouTube video on the story, and I'll watch that.
It's okay, P. You don't have to force yourself if you don't want to. You can just read up on it, right? Just read up, and that'll be totally fine.
Why don't you watch the movie and just tell me about it?
No, I won't waste my time or energy
telling you
anything about anything. Because clearly You're ready to sue me, right? Still, so what makes you think I'm going to recommend anything to you ever? It's like I said, it's fine if none of you want to watch it. It's totally fine. You don't have to watch everything that we react to, right? So it's totally cool. Yeah. Okay. I guess it's time to end this trailer reaction. All right. That was our trailer reaction to Manjhi the Mountain Man. Guys, let us know if this movie is worth watching, whether they watch it or not. Just let us know in the comment section. If you watched it, would you recommend it? If yes, why? Let us know. We'd be interested in reading that. And thank you so much for staying tuned with us. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. And guys, don't forget to sign up on Patreon. And until next time, peace out.